Okay, so Open Graph social media tips, take one.
Well, we're back with another social media tips for you today. Hi, Tessa.
Hello.
I'm Laura Rubenstein, Tessa Ashford here. We are excited to talk about something that is, going to really make you shine online. And it's one of my pet peeves when someone doesn't do this on their website or their blog post or their sales pages, especially if I'm an affiliate of theirs or I want to share their content. Have you run into this, Tess?
Absolutely. In fact, I just recently ran into it again, which is great that we're covering this topic.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you have a brand new website, this is also a problem that comes up.
Yeah, and you want to keep this in mind. You want a graphic for every single page that you're producing. Why? Because if somebody shares it on social media, that graphic can come in and populate, make it look all pretty instead of when you've shared a link and it looks all blah. And I'm actually going to show you what this looks like.
Absolutely. What we're talking about is an open graph image. And if you leave the internet to its own devices, it's going to pick whichever image it wants from your page. And usually that's the first image on the page, which isn't always the one that you want.
Right. So what happens when I go to share something like a sales page? And now they've given me graphics, like I'm an affiliate, they give me graphics, and that's great. I can add the graphic and the link. However, the downside of that is if somebody clicks on that graphic, they get the graphic. And then in order to go to the page, they have to click a second time. However, if you do what Tess just alluded to, the open graph image, you put a specific sized image on your sales page, coded, doesn't even have to be on the page. It could be behind the scenes, and we're going to show you where. And your affiliate goes and puts their link in. Like you said, the internet left to its own devices. Actually, it's not left to its own devices. It's told, use this picture.
Yes.
Cool. Wouldn't you like that?
And the right one for the right platform too. Like Facebook images need to be a different size than a Twitter image and whatnot.
Yeah, but at the very least, at least have one of them, because you'll catch at least everybody on Facebook, for example. But we'll show you how to do both. So let's dive in. I'm going to share my screen and talk about this like from the real time aspect here. Okay, so Tess, we've got my blog here, and if I go into my blog, it looks kind of good. It has an image down here, but you know what? It actually has another image in there that you saw on the first page. So if I were to take this link and I wanted to know how it's going to show up on social media, I have a tool for you. And what is it, Tess?
Facebook Debugger.
Yeah, so just Google Facebook Debugger and you'll get this link. It's the first link that comes up.
It sounds like a weird thing, debugger, but yeah, it's true. And we are fixing a bug on the internet. We're basically fixing what image is going to come up.
And when we paste in this URL, which is the URL for my blog post, it goes and does something called scraping that page, right? And what happens when it scrapes? We click debug and then boom, it shows this image. Why does it show this image that you didn't even see on the page? Because I put it in and I told it to do that. So Tess, how did I put this in?
Right, so let's go to your blog and we're going to go look at the page. So here's the post, blog post. And as she goes down on the side, this is a WordPress blog. As she goes down the side, your image, featured image, is one way. So if you at least set a featured image, most blogs, you have to do that to get it to show on the front page, like Laura was alluding to, but maybe that's not the exact image or it's a different size. Every blog's a little bit different, so maybe it's not the perfect size. So Laura has a plugin called Yoast on her website, and it's for SEO. But if she goes to the bottom of her blog post, that lovely little dealio there for SEO is amazing because you can see how it's going to preview on Google. But if you click to the social tab, now you can select the image. So she hasn't overridden, just the one image is all that it took. And she scraped it in Facebook and it was able to pick it up. If she wanted to get a different image, let's say she has an image with a guest on it, and that's a special one that she wants to be able to put out to social media, she can select her image from here. And she can also decide what the Facebook title is and description. By default, your WordPress websites are always going to pull the title of your blog and they're going to pull the description, but maybe that's not descriptive enough for you. You want to use some keywords and make some SEO strategic decisions in it. You could actually use the SEO tab first, create those, and then come back to the social tab and put those in.
Yep. So here I'm putting in title, description. I could put in another image or it'll take that. So it'll be interesting to see. What it's taking though, when I don't have that, is the first line of the blog post.
And it's
also
doing a certain amount of characters.
A certain amount of characters of that, right? So if I want to change the title to get the tools that advanced marketers use in their marketing tech stack, then that will show up instead of the title when I save it. And also down here we have
Twitter's version. So Twitter's a slightly different size. So if you the interesting thing is that it can be a square image for Twitter. So let's say you have an Instagram image and you want it to look different on Twitter. Twitter's a little bit more flexible. Facebook and Instagram are really set in their ways. There's only one way you do it. Twitter can take your longer image and use it in the blog preview, but it will cut off a little bit from what Facebook is 1200 by 630. And Twitter is 1024 by 512. So, it's a little bit different measurement. So if you design like Laura did here, where the content's really in the middle, it's going to be fine.
Yeah. And so it's going to show up really nicely like this, right? On Twitter or Facebook and Twitter. Now, let's just show them for fun what it looks like when you don't have a good image in there. So maybe you're getting affiliates and you want people to, promote this wonderful Facebook group download, right? Okay, great. Well, if I go and I scrape this one, I copied it and I'm going to paste it in here and I'll click debug. Which I need a button.
Pulling a white logo, which is not unusual for one of the first things in your page to be a white logo on a background, right? So somewhere it's populating this email or this image as the default. So they could definitely go in the back end and set that open graph image. And now let's say that there's an image back there, you can hit scrape again, or if, let's say you updated it, you want it to scrape again. We didn't make any changes on this page, so nothing's going to be different, but it is possible to not see it until you tell Facebook to go scrape this. Now, if it was your first time typing it, and this page had never been scraped and you went to Facebook to try to post. So if you go to Facebook and put that in, that's where you really see it, as if you're going to go start a new post.
So what do you want this one in here?
Yeah, so go to Facebook like you're going to make a post on Facebook. And we'll just show why is this even important, right? And why Laura's it's such a big pet peeve of hers, because all of those Social Buzz Club articles that are up there should need to have this, because as soon as you paste that article, it's going to do the same thing, right? So now it's that white image. That's what people are going to see if you were to paste this in and share it on social media. Right. So you want to make sure that debugger happens so you don't get that.
Right. And yeah, so that's what we previewed, is the exact same thing. I love that. So did we want to show anything else? Were you gonna?
I think that's it. Okay. When you just make sure, if you do have a blog with the featured image, try it with your featured image to make your life simpler, but you can definitely use a Yoast plugin for other things as well. It's a very good tool to have on your website if you don't already have it.
And I will say, if you're going to use the featured image, leave a lot of margin around it for really focus in on the center, because whether it comes in small, medium, or cropped on either side or top or bottom, at least the words or the main part of the image you want shows up. So another little tip for you. And your affiliates are going to be so much happier, because then they can use the images or they can choose not to, and they can mix it up and feel really good when they want to just share the link, that it shows up really nicely like your brand and what you're promoting. So happy using your open graph images and really shining online.